these people who keep money with NSSF, they don't get back the same amount of money. They actually get more money at the end of the day. I'm so worried that Ugandans actually don't know this, and they don't want to invest. Whenever they take off a bit of your salary for NSSF, you keep complaining and grudging. But this money is going to help you at the end, and it's going to come back to you with interest, which is very interesting, right? It's very interesting. So whenever you're saving this money in NSSF or any other retirement benefits association, just remember they are going to actually use that money to make you more money. And this is how they do it. When NSSF wants to accumulate more money from people's retirement benefits, so it collects these retirement benefits from all the workers around the country. Of course, these are people who are employed in the formal sector. And when you're employed in the formal sector or the private or government sector, as long as it's formal employment, you have a certain portion go to NSSF. Now, NSSF gets this money and doesn't keep it in the bank. No, it invests. In some time back, we had NSSF invest a lot of money in capital markets and actually revive some of the companies that were dying. So NSSF invests this money in these companies. These companies make more money, they expand, they increase their production capacity, they actually maybe develop more lines. If at all their industries, they get more lines of production and they get to make huge amounts of profit. And now NSSF is like an investor and gets his dividends. NSSF also gets his gets her maybe probably at the end of the day, it can sell the shares through capital gain and actually make more money. And now NSSF every year has a certain amount of money from these investments. You can see NSSF is investing and it's getting more money. Now when they get more money from these investments, they actually get it back to the people who are retiring at a higher interest. So you have something for someone who has actually invested, who has actually given you your money, given you their money to invest, and actually you invest and make more money, and they will have more money at the end of the day. So don't shy away from saving. Saving is a saver. It's a life saver. We should have learned the hard way in Uganda. When it came to COVID-19, we even had to wait for government to give us food relief. That was terrific because we don't invest. Because, okay, probably we save, but we don't invest. The difference between a saver and an investor is that a saver's money will never grow. An investor's money, much as it's risky and it involves a lot of ups and downs, the investor's money will always grow. The saver's money will always remain in that box the way it was. So start saving, start creating these accounts and start saving. There's something called an SCD account. So whenever you are trying to open, probably you want to start involving yourself in the trading and buying of shares, you don't just go direct and start trading. First, you go through a broker, the procedure, and when you go to this broker, brokers include SBG, there's Britam, there are a couple of brokers online. You can search them out. But this investor, this broker will actually help you open an account called the SCD account, the Securities Central Depository account. Now, this SCD account will help you actually keep track of your shares. Every time you buy shares, the account is credited. So you always have higher credit every time you buy shares. Every time you sell shares, you will be debited. And so you can keep just the way you have a bank account or mobile money account, that every time you withdraw some money, you have a message that, hey, you've withdrawn this amount. You also put some money, you have a message that you put some money. The same thing. And good news is this has become, it's going to be made electronic, entirely electronic, such that in the hands of your mobile phone, you can just actually make a transaction from your mobile phone. I think MTN is the first company that went electronic in terms of IPOs. MTN, when it came to come to the public to seek funds, it actually used the mobile money. Yes, you just go, You just go and type *165# and actually access all their services and get to know exactly where to invest and how much using mobile money. This is going to also become a very, very good tool to use, technology, in terms of trading. So yes, invest, and don't you waste your savings. So right now, we are going into a certain program. The Capital Markets Authority has been doing programs, training programs, to train us, Ugandans, on the capital markets. And so they did a training in Luwero, that is Ndeje University, Luwero campus, where they had a couple of students and they taught them on capital markets. And we would like to give you a snippet of what took place.
Want to invest in all these things. You look at all these companies that we've looked at in the previous slide, and you wonder, but so which company is making money? Which one can I invest in right now? Remember how we said Fiona now has sold shares to me, and now I want to sell them to other people? So on the secondary market, like I was looking to sell to my brother over here or Regan, that's what happens in the secondary market. And right now, even if you wanted to be a shareholder, in all these companies, you can buy stocks. I tell you, seriously, you can actually buy shares in all these companies. But the question is, do I know which company is making money? Do I know which company in the current economy is making money? Which company can I invest in today? When can I invest in it? Recently, they just did their dividends. They shared some of their dividends. Is it a right time to get in or to get out? At what point do I get in? All these questions and more are some of the things that all of us as startup investors suffer. Okay? So now, a product came up we call the collective investment schemes, where a fund manager says, you know what? I want to be licensed by the Capital Markets Authority. And in being licensed by the Capital Markets Authority, I'm going to offer this advice to you. But I'm taking it, I'm going to do it while investing in all these businesses. I can choose to make a calculated decision and guess. I look at all these companies and say, these companies, I know, for example, I may say MTN. MTN has a good business profile. And this is where it is going. This is where it could go as a business. And I, as a fund manager, I could invest more in MTN. Okay? But then I come to you and tell you guys, you come, I'm willing to. If you buy into my units, I'll buy for MTN, and then I'll buy for, say, Baroda because I know the bank is growing, or I'll go across the border in Kenya or Uganda, and then I'll be able to buy these different stocks. But guess what? You may not have access. You and I may not have access to all these markets. So the fund manager now comes and says, while I've invested in all these industries or all these companies, I'm willing to sell to you part of my units. I've invested in these companies. But now you can come and partner with me by bringing your small capital, however small or however big, put it together with me, and then we can be able to invest together. The money that you give us as a fund manager, I will be able to invest to all these companies. Are we together? So this fund manager now sets all these units and sells them to you. We call them the collective investment schemes. These schemes that are set up and licensed by the Capital Markets Authority with fund managers that are fully trained, investing in stocks that we know or businesses that we can be able to attest to, or not only stocks, even treasury bills and bonds. They come and be able to invest in this and then be able to sell to you these units. Now, how can you invest in these units? Collective investment schemes. You can buy units. We call them units. Every single day, those units are being sold. You can just go approach any of our licensed intermediaries, and then you tell them, I have 100,000. I've been saving my pocket money for this number of days. I want to invest in these units because I know you as a fund manager are able to invest on my behalf. And we license them. We would have come with a number of them, but unfortunately they were closing the month, and then they can be able to tell you some of the processes that they go through while they choose their investments. But they literally invest on your behalf, and all you have to do is just sit and focus on your studies and just let your money work for you, and it grows per month. But we're going to talk about that later. So the collective investment schemes industry has grown to about 1 trillion as at to date. 1 trillion Uganda shillings. People have invested so much in this, and over a period of time, you can see in 2013, it was just 13 billion, okay? 2018, it was 127 billion, and now you can see the exponential appreciation of collective investment schemes. You do not have to do anything. Many Ugandans right now are putting their money in collective investment because I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I'm just letting the investment manager do the business for me. Because if you go to the bank, we've heard of fixed deposit accounts, you're going to ask for a fixed deposit account. So if that fixed deposit is to be terminated across the period, your interest changes. Actually, you don't even get the interest. You terminate the interest, okay? But these collective investments go and they negotiate on your behalf, and they speak to the banks. So they have a growing conversation with the bank, but for you, you can be able to terminate this conversation every end of the month, as and when you wish. It is that flexible. All you have to do is to withdraw. You can just write an email and tell them, guys, I've been saving my car money. Please help me withdraw it. I need it now to be able to, say, pay for school fees, or to be able to, say, buy something or invest in another business, as we might have talked about earlier. So all these are different options, and that's one of the reasons we're here. So Capital Markets Authority, what we are here to do is just to ensure that we facilitate opportunities for raising capital. Tomorrow, I don't know where you'll be seated. In the next 5 or 10 years, it's possible your business might have grown exponentially, and you might be looking for capital. We may be able to offer some solutions, broadening ownership amongst nationals, to be able to provide alternatives for long-term capital, not short-term, long-term. We're looking at 5 years plus, we're looking at 10 years, where I can be able to raise this capital. To be able to help government while they are structuring their public finance infrastructure projects. But also to help small and medium enterprises to be able to tap into private equity. That's another conversation we shall be able to have. What are the challenges that we've had? We've had a low penetration. We think awareness is still growing, and there's still room for that. There's a low savings there's a poor savings culture. There's people who may have information, and those who don't have information. Sorry about that. In addition to the insufficient skills within the market. We're just going to move to collective investment schemes and have a lengthier conversation. So, he may have 100,000. I may have 50K. She may have 200,000. She may have 1 million Uganda shillings. And this money together, and we're saving in different opportunities, different things. What happens with the collective investment schemes is he brings his 100,000, 200,000, 1 million, puts them together to a fund manager. This fund manager puts this money in the best interests of you and invests on your behalf and seeks out investments that are worthy of return. At the end of every year per annum, they may give you about 11% or 12%. But guess what? This 12% is calculated per day and put on your account. Per day. Do you remember how to calculate the future value Okay? Do you remember how to calculate interest and? Okay, let's start there. Interest and? Okay? I'm sorry? Yes. Yes. What's it again? Just raise up and say it.
It's interest rate and index time.
Very, very good. And now you add the principal to actually calculate the actual amount that is earned. So this is calculated per day and put on your account per day. Should you choose to withdraw it at the end of the week or at the end of the month, if you start now, you have to save for just a minimum of a month. And after a month, you can be able to pick it out and be able to use it for, I want to encourage productive use. Productive use. It would be unwise to save and then you find you're buying a phone, or save and then you're buying a shoe. Surely I think savings should be used to productive use. You're saving to invest in someone else's business, you're saving to invest in something that's productive. So what happens is all these savings are put together and then invested in shares, bonds, treasury bills. And what the investment manager does is to ensure that they are able to invest in your best interest and give you the best return, because ultimately the return is what sells him. If he gets a higher return, 15%, I mean, you move to him as an investment manager and as a business owner. So that's what the collective investment scheme does. It takes up individuals, investment clubs, circles, so all these, and that speaks to the exponential growth that we saw here, right? The exponential growth, it has really, really just grown. So one of the things that we encourage is, and one of the advantages that you will tap into while investing in collective investment schemes is, one, your ease of access. Two, you have a professional manager. Three, the transaction costs are low, okay? It is literally affordable. With the minimal money that you have, you can be able to save in a collective investment scheme. You can put aside 100,000, by a minimum of 100,000. For some accounts, they say all you have to do is just send a minimum of 10,000. For some accounts, you can be able to put this money and put it aside and be able to invest in collective investment schemes. It's affordable, it is accessible, even with your phone. Using mobile money, you can be able to send this money to the investment managers. So, what are the downsides? You lose control of your resources. You're literally trusting someone else to invest for you. But also, you have a few fees and charges, and they're very minimal. Very, very minimal charges. So, what are the different types of collective investment schemes? There's the balanced, or let's start with, there's the equity fund. This one, when you invest in it, you're literally telling it, invest in shares. Please invest in shares. Every money you get, invest in shares. But for that one, when you're investing in it, we encourage you to look at the long-term horizon, because shares actually appreciate in the long term, not in the short term. Long term, you're looking at 5 years or 10 years. But for the money market, it's really literally short term. You want some quick money where you can just put some money briefly, and then you can be able to withdraw as and when you do it. There's the balance fund that puts together the bonds and the stocks. Money market is mostly bonds, treasury bills, or short-term lendings to government. That's the money market. So the balance fund puts together the bonds, stocks, and then ensures that happens. Then the umbrella trust, which seems to be the more appreciated, looks at both short-term securities and long-term as well. So it is suited for pension guys, the guys who invest for long-term, the NSSFs, those guys who are investing for pension. So it's suitable for those because they are looking at the long-term. So they have a blend of both long-term and short-term securities. So that's the structure of the money market fund. How do you invest? Now that we've talked about them, you choose a unit trust licensed by us. You open up an account using just national ID and the passport photo. Then you make a deposit to the amount, and then you contact your manager to confirm that it's just a simple process, very, very simple. You literally choose, there are many of them. There's the ICA, there's the UAP, there's the Britam, Sanlam, I hope I've taken everyone in consideration, but those are the ones that I can remember offhand that are licensed by Zeno as well, licensed by the Capital Markets Authority. And so you choose any one of them. How do you choose? Maybe you can choose based on the slide that we had looked at. What is your desire? Am I looking to, because it's important that you, right now where you are, you must have a goal in terms of saving, in terms of finances, in terms of where do you want to be. Guess what? Retirement is not tomorrow. Rather, it's not far off. The other day I was just looking at some people who were very active in employment and right now they're a bit slowing down. Retirement is real. Retirement is real, so you think that you still have a life ahead of you. No, it's just tomorrow. Just when you wake up like this, oh my goodness, it's tomorrow. So you may want to start saving now. And for you, probably, it's possible that the equity fund may be better for you because it may do long term. It may be long term for you. The average age here I can see is probably 22 or 20 thereabout. You could think retirement is so far, you have 40 years or 35. And what is retirement? Retirement could be, I'm slowing down, I'm not chasing after businesses, or I'm not chasing after employment. You may have a personal goal, and for each one of you, it's important that you make that, but that's another conversation I like to have with young people. Because tomorrow, you do not know. You do not know. So you just do whatever you have to do to ensure that you can save now. So you choose your fund. Am I going to go equity? Am I going to go money market? Am I going to go the balance fund or the umbrella trust? So with that in mind, you go to the investment advisor and you tell him, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want to do. I'm looking towards saving for my retirement. And then he will tell you, all the equity fund is available. And this is the current rate. So you go to this fund, it will tell you their rate. They will go to the other fund, you tell you their rate. And you make a comparison of all these funds, okay? After choosing yours, you then go and open your account. What you need is just a national ID or anything that can be able to be used to identify you. A refugee card or something. You approach the licensed manager and then you can be able to start the account opening process. Then you deposit the amount via mobile money or different payment options, and then you can be able to notify the investment. But how do you exit as and when you desire? When you're tired of this, or maybe when you just want to release some of these resources, you can be able to contact them by email, okay? Just send an email and you tell them, I wish to withdraw these units. Most funds will request you to fill a form, and then this form is your way of saying, the small units I had invested, please sell them. I want to be able to receive my money. And then, usually, this money will go to your bank account. All that detail that you will fill on the redemption form. Who can invest in CISs? You and I can. You and I can, individuals, circles, okay, investment clubs. I hope we are saving somewhere. How much do I need? Like I said, it depends on the unit trust. Some say minimum of 100,000. Some say minimum transaction is 50K. So all you have to do is send that. What are the fees? It ranges between 1.5 and 2.5. Currently, these funds are not taxed, and we thank God for that. Different organizations withdraw on different periods, and those are the questions I think we need to ask every licensed investment manager. Because what happens is different companies take up different times. Others are 4 working days, others are 2 working days, other it's even 1 working day if you send it before a specific time because of their nature. So those are the questions that you ask every investment manager. There are about 6 or so, 5 or so, that we license. So if you have time, and for each one of us, I request you to go to the CMA website, CMA Uganda. That's the website. You can be able to access to get. You can tap under the tab that says licensed farms. So all those farms are there. You can be able to choose, and you say, I want to have this conversation. And should you not be able to go to town, you can have the phone call and just tell them, guys, I want to be able to open an account. Some you can be able to just open using an online portal, okay? So you can be able to have those conversations on the call. All you have to do is just engage each one of them, having checked the CMA Uganda website. Are we together? So, have I answered your question? It takes between maximum 4 days. Maximum 4 days. The other is 2 days, the other is 1 day, if I remember straight. But all these are different options for the investment manager does. But just engage them. Each one of them has different opportunities. Your question again? Between Capital Markets Authority, Capital Markets and CIS. All these are opportunities within the capital market space. So I can say that the capital markets, do you remember math, a subset and the bigger set? You remember? So CIS is a subset of the capital markets space. So these are opportunities to raise savings. We talked about when you get return. What happens? How do I know that I've gotten return? So there are different ways you can be able to earn from stocks. You can gain from capital gains. Can someone help me explain capital gains? Capital gains? It's, for example, buying this phone at 100,000. And tomorrow, the price changes to 120. So I have gained 20,000. Are we together? I have gained 20,000 from the sale of the phone at a higher value. So capital gains, you can't be able to get from capital gain. You could buy Sandvik at 26, but it's been at 25, 26 for a while. And you could be able to, you don't know, I mean, we also don't know, but it's possible that in the next, that's why we say for shares, you look at the long haul. In the next 5 or 10 years, you could sell Sandvik at 30 shillings or 35 shillings. But also, every time it makes profits, ideally, if everything is okay, the economic standards are, economic conditions are well, they actually can give you dividends. I actually attended an annual presentation of the performance of Sandvik. Their desire was to give dividends, but because of the economic performance, if they gave dividends, the banking industry, the small capital that they have, would slowly be depleted. And so the central bank thought it wise to tell all financial institutions to retain dividends. But ideally, they would have given dividends. MTN, it's possible when it announces its books of accounts down there, it will give dividends. It's possible, depending on the economic conditions. Ideally, they usually do, because that's what their books were saying. For the past maybe 5 or so years, they've been giving dividends to all its investors. This was before it went public. So yes, the money, the dividends hit your account that you registered in when you are signing up. So that money comes and hits that account. And over time, I've heard of people who, even with those dividends, they now reinvest either in that company or in another company, and the portfolio has grown over time. So people have grown wealth over time, literally, using this opportunity. I wish I could give you live examples, but some of whose names I prefer to withhold. But it's an opportunity to be able to raise capital. I'd rather to save for the long run and also raise wealth. What is he talked about the interest rate and maturity. Currently, like I said, different fund managers and different products offer different rates of return. We're going back to this. All these 4 segments offer different rates. In addition to being 4 different segments, 4 or 5 different licensed managers offer different rates, because every manager is a different organization. They invest very differently. They could invest more in bonds and then less in security, in shares. They could invest more in treasury bills and less in treasury bonds. So every investment manager, all these 5 or 6 licensed people, have different perspectives of the markets. So they will offer different interest rates for all the different products. So it's important, like I said, that you know what you want first. Then when you know what you want, then you go to these guys. How much are you offering for the money market fund? How much are you offering for the balanced fund? How much are you offering for the equity fund? If that makes sense. Now on maturity, now the bonds are a very different conversation, and I would need a one-to-one to be able to talk about them, because it's important that you have a meaningful engagement, because there's the corporate bonds, there's the treasury bills, there's the government bonds as well. So all these, for now, when you invest today, you put your money there, you wait for it, for the period that you invested it. Treasury bills can be 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year, okay? So you wait for the period until when it has matured, and then you can be able to, until when it has, the 3 months are over, is when you can be able to get your security. And that's what I'm saying. The collective investment schemes may be a better opportunity, because the bonds need a lot of science. When is the government going to publish these treasury bills? When are they going to publish these bonds? When can I be able to invest? So leave that to the investment manager. You put your money there. You can't be able to recoup it as and when you need it. Is that okay? Scams. All these people who are looking for ways to be able to steal your money. We strongly discourage the public from investing in these get-rich-quick schemes. The capital markets does not license these schemes whatsoever. The Capital Markets Authority actually requests you, as soon as you learn about these, please inform us. On the website, there's a contact us link there. There's an email there, and there's a contact phone. I beg you, as soon as you hear about them, please inform us, so that we can be able to act before any other people can be able to be heard, because the public is people are losing lots of resources. There in Arua, people have lost money because someone is saying, I'm going to offer you 40% or 30% return, or I'm dealing in forex trading and I can be able to get this, or I'm dealing, now the new thing is cryptocurrency and I can be able to give this amount of return. I beg you, please contact us as soon as possible, and then we can be able to act, and therefore we work with the sister agencies that include the police to investigate this, to actually work with the DPP, the Directorate of Public Prosecution, to ensure that these people are actually taken to the places where they deserve in the cells, to be able to protect the public from these individuals. Ultimately, they
Earn Bully Daily when you invest with Britain's unit trusts. Are you saving up for a car, school fees, a wedding, a house, or more enjoyments on that holiday? Whatever your investment goal is, Britham's asset managers have you covered. Open a Britam Unit Trust Fund account today, start your investment journey, and enjoy accrued interest on your investment Buri Dede. That's right, every day. Professional investment management from our money magicians. Easy withdrawal of your funds within less than a week. All you need is a minimum investment of a polite 100k and a minimum top-up of 50k whenever the extra money checks in to grow your savings. Call us today on 0312-305-600 or send an email to clientservicesug@britam.com to get started. Britam Asset Managers is regulated by the Capital Markets Authority. Terms and conditions apply. Britam, with you every step of the way.
Cut. Zizinga, wait.
Yeah?
Ka selfie.
Wow. Do you have the MyGo TV app? Oh, do you use star 206 hash? Labono. Bwe life techina kunyumira. With the MyGo TV app or star 206 hash, you can make payments, you can change package, you can fix errors, you can check your balance anytime, anywhere.
Download the MyGo TV app from Google Play Store or the App Store or dial star 206 hash.
Ha! My phone!
Go TV Uganda. Love it.
Football packages, great entertainment,
Sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies.
there is something for everybody.
Go TV, this is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories. Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
Uganda and Turkey enjoy warm, cordial and mutually beneficial bilateral relations, especially in the areas of investment, trade, industry and tourism. It's against this background that the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Uganda Investment Authority, the Embassy of Turkey and the Foreign Economic Relations Board of Turkey is holding the Uganda-Turkey Investment, Trade, Industry and Tourism Summit 2022. The summit will be held on May 12th and 13th at Speak Resort Munyonyo in Kampala under the theme Accelerating Investment, Trade, Industry and Tourism in a Post-COVID Era. The summit will focus on key growth sectors in Uganda, namely agriculture, agro-value addition, manufacturing, industry parks, mineral value addition and tourism. The overall objective of the summit is to boost investment, trade, industry and tourism between Uganda and Turkey by showcasing and identifying opportunities, sharing experiences, creating business networks and dealing with investment and trade challenges. The chief guest will be the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Follow the summit live on UBC, NBS and Smart24 TV and follow the hashtag InvestUGTurkey22 on Uganda Investment Authority's social media platforms.
I can choose to make a calculated decision and guess. I look at all these companies and say, these companies, I know, for example, I may say MTN. MTN has a good business profile and this is where it is going. This is where it could go as a business. And I, as a fund manager, I could invest more in MTN, okay? But then I come to you and tell you guys, you come, I'm willing to, if you buy into my units, I'll buy for MTN and then I'll buy for, say, Baroda because I know the bank is growing. Or I'll go across the border in Kenya or Uganda and then I'll be able to buy these different stocks. But guess what? You may not have access. You and I may not have access to all these markets. So the fund manager now comes and says, while I've invested in all these industries or all these companies, I'm willing to sell to you part of my units. I've invested in these companies. But now you can come and partner with me by bringing your small capital, however small or however big, put it together with me, and then we can be able to invest together. The money that you give us as a fund manager, I will be able to invest to all these companies. Are we together? So this fund manager now sets all these units and sells them to you. We call them the collective investment schemes. These schemes that are set up and licensed by the Capital Markets Authority with fund managers that are fully trained, investing in stocks that we know or businesses that we can be able to attest to, or not only stocks, even treasury bills and bonds, they come and be able to invest in this and then be able to sell to you these units. Now, how can you invest in these units? Collective investment schemes. You can buy units, we call them units. Every single day, those units are being sold. You can just go approach any of our licensed intermediaries and then you tell them, I have 100,000. I've been saving my pocket money for this number of days. I want to invest in these units because I know you as a fund manager are able to invest on my behalf. And we license them. We would have come with a number of them, but unfortunately they were closing the month, and then they can be able to tell you some of the processes that they go through while they choose their investments. But they literally invest on your behalf, and all you have to do is just sit and focus on your studies and just let your money work for you, and it grows per month. But we're going to talk about that later. So the collective investment schemes industry has grown to about 1 trillion as at to date. 1 trillion Uganda shillings. People have invested so much in this, and over a period of time, you can see in 2013, it was just 13 billion, okay? 2018, it was 127 billion, and now you can see the exponential appreciation of collective investment schemes. You do not have to do anything. Many Ugandans right now are putting their money in collective investments because I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I'm just letting the investment manager do the business for me. Because if you go to the bank, we've had a fixed deposit account, you're going to ask for a fixed deposit account. So if that fixed deposit is to be terminated across the period, your interest changes. You actually don't even get the interest. You terminate the interest, okay? But these collective investments go and they negotiate on your behalf and they speak to the banks. So they have a growing conversation with the bank, but for you, you can be able to terminate this conversation every end of the month, as and when you wish. It is that flexible. All you have to do is to withdraw. You can just write an email and tell them, guys, I've been saving my car money. Please help me withdraw it. I need it now to be able to, say, pay for school fees, or to be able to, say, buy something or invest in another business, as we might have talked about earlier. So all these are different options, and that's one of the reasons we're here. So Capital Markets Authority, what we are here to do is just to ensure that we facilitate opportunities for raising capital. Tomorrow, I don't know where you'll be seated. In the next 5 or 10 years, it's possible your business might have grown exponentially, and you might be looking for capital. We may be able to offer some solutions, broadening ownership among its nationals, to be able to provide alternatives for long-term capital, not short-term, long-term. We're looking at 5 years plus, we're looking at 10 years, where I can be able to raise this capital. To be able to help government during while they are structuring their public finance infrastructure projects. But also to help small and medium enterprises to be able to tap into private equity. That's another conversation we shall be able to have. What are the challenges that we've had? We've had a low penetration. We think awareness is still growing, and there's still room for that. There's a low savings there's a poor savings culture. There's people who may have information, and those who don't have information. Sorry about that. In addition to the insufficient skills within the market. We're just going to move to collective investment schemes and have a lengthier conversation. So, he may have 100,000. I may have 50K. She may have 200,000. She may have 1 million Uganda shillings. And this money together and we're saving in different opportunities, different things. What happens with the collective investment schemes is he brings his 100,000, 200,000, 1 million, puts them together to a fund manager. This fund manager puts this money in the best interests of you and invests on your behalf and seeks out investments that are worthy of return. At the end of every year per annum, they may give you about 11% or 12%. But guess what? This 12% is calculated per day and put on your account. Per day. Do you remember how to calculate the future value? Okay. Do you remember how to calculate interest and? Okay, let's start there. Interest and? Okay. I'm sorry? Yes. Yes. What's it again? Just raise up and say it.
It's interest rate and index time.
Very, very good. And now you add the principal to actually calculate the actual amount that is earned. So this is calculated per day and put on your account per day. Should you choose to withdraw it at the end of the week or at the end of the month, if you start now, you have to save for just a minimum of a month. And after a month, you can be able to pick it out and be able to use it for, I want to encourage productive use. Productive use. It would be unwise to save and then you find you're buying a phone, or save and then you're buying a shoe. Surely I think savings should be used to productive use. You're saving to invest in someone else's business, you're saving to invest in something that's productive. So what happens is all these savings are put together and then invested in shares, bonds, treasury bills. And what the investment manager does is to ensure that they are able to invest in your best interest and give you the best return, because ultimately the return is what sells him. If he gets a higher return, 15%, I mean, you move to him as an investment manager and as a business owner. So that's what the collective investment scheme does. It takes up individuals, investment clubs, circles, so all these, and that speaks to the exponential growth that we saw here, right? The exponential growth, it has really, really just grown. So one of the things that we encourage is, and one of the advantages that you will tap into while investing in collective investment schemes is, one, your ease of access. Two, you have a professional manager. Three, the transaction costs are low, okay? It is literally affordable. With the minimal money that you have, you can be able to save in a collective investment scheme. You can put aside 100,000, by a minimum of 100,000. For some accounts, they say all you have to do is just send a minimum of 10,000. For some accounts, you can be able to put this money and put it aside and be able to invest in collective investment schemes. It's affordable, it is accessible, even with your phone. Using mobile money, you can be able to send this money to the investment managers.
Smart 24, driving business.
Stanbic Bank continues to transform lives through its Circle Leaders Load Credit and Capacity Building Support Program. In Nakalama, Sub-County in Uganda District, the Chuwimba Farmers Cooperatives Society Limited is one of the circles that received a loan from Stanbic Bank, helping out the circle to tighten food and income security among smallholder farmers.
Chuwimba is a cooperative which initially started as a community-based organization way back in 2002 and later transformed into a cooperative society, which we are now. We are located in Nakalama sub-county in Uganda district. We've got a membership of over 3,600 members, majority of whom are female. Actually, the female comprise about 54% of the total number of members of Chuwimba Farmers Cooperative Society Limited.
The cooperative aims at fighting food and income security among smallholder farmers. One of the challenges that we faced was higher bank interest rates. Banks were charging higher interest rates, and the circles were not affording to borrow. Then accessibility to affordable credit has been a challenge to circles.
I need to send my appreciation to Stanbic Bank, because Stanbic has really helped us a lot. Stanbic gave us a loan at a very low interest rate, 12.5%, and that loan has been able to uplift the standards of members.
Nebaza Sako eya Chuwimba, Sako kuba ne member kuyo, okuba n'omukutu ne Stanbic Bank nga njebaza okutuwanirira okutuwa sente. Era ndi omu ku abo ababenefitinga okufuna sente ezo nga tuzikozesa.
The new ability to borrow cheaply allows the circle to grow and expand.
So with Stanbic Bank's loan, it has enabled us to access members, even members to access the money. We can now go and buy grain from our members. And I'm calling upon all circles to go to Stanbic Bank and use that facility and use that package, because really it is a boost to our circles, especially now when most of the members, their savings are so small.
Nebaza Stanbic Bank olw'ebikolwa ebibyezze, era nga nsaba nti twongereko ne ku ssente tusobole okukola ebisingawo.
I'm Magumba Nathan of Kilembe Farmers Cooperative Society Limited. With Stanbic Bank, we are getting one step closer to our dream of being the leading producer of grain products.
Stanbic Bank. It can be.
Smart 24, driving business.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you for keeping it here at Smart 24 TV. My name is SSEBAALE, your host on this program, Financial Markets. Now, we just witnessed a training from the Capital Markets Authority agent called Jason Tumwine, who is in charge of marketing in the Capital Markets Authority Uganda. And as you saw, they were trying to train students at Ndeje University the role and value of investing in capital markets, and what capital markets can actually do for you if you actually invest. Actually, I think if we as the younger generation get to know about capital markets earlier in life, we'll solve a lot of problems that would have actually hindered our success in the future. So right about now, we are going to go into another training by the Capital Markets Authority still in Ndeje University that took place on the Kampala campus. Don't go away, I'll be right back.
Our guests from the Capital Markets Authority and media, the Smart TV, here at Ndeje University, the Faculty of Business Administration and Management. We are ready to get information, the practical information from practitioners in the Capital Markets Authority. What Capital Markets Authority is doing is to educate the public about the investment opportunities, the securities market, the primary and the secondary markets, how we can invest, the unity trust for both lecturers, the staff, administrative staff, and to our students. And after getting this information, we expect also our students and even the staff to go out there and you preach the gospel of investment. You know, in Uganda, the investment rate is too low. And most of us, we are not even aware that we are supposed to invest. Remember, most of us, what we are doing is working today. You consume everything that you have worked for. So it is only work consumption. And we are talking of savings. Now after savings, what next? Now the investment. So we need to take investing in the securities market. You know it is a sure risk-free. This is government. So let us listen, get this gospel, and we also take on the gospel to the public, our parents, our sisters and brothers out there. This is a great opportunity for us. And our experts, the practitioners, you are most welcome to Ndeje University. We thank you for considering us, because I remember you sent an email to the Vice Chancellor of Ndeje University and he forwarded it to the Dean Faculty of Business Administration and Management. My name is Dr. Mili Fwakaluyigu. And today it is happening. So let us be very serious, attentive, and listen. Do not just hear, but listen, and you take the gospel. We are here with some academic staff and administrative staff. We have Mr. Rule here with us. We have Mr. Rule, you can stand up for recognition. I mean Mr. Papua. Then we have one from accounts, and they are in charge of our circle in Ndeje University, the business circle. Mr. Richard, you can stand up for recognition. And we are here with the head of departments, accounting and finance, the Faculty of Business Administration and Management, Dr. Nadera. We have our experts from Capital Markets Authority, Mr. Okay. So thank you.
I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Capital Markets Authority. It's a conversation that's important for us. We think it cannot be underspoken. And the question here we're trying to investigate is, what is the role of capital markets in mobilization of savings and investment? My name is Terence Tumwine. I come from the Capital Markets Authority. I'm a senior research and market development officer there. I am privileged to be here representing the authority. We just want to say a thank you, a big thank you to the management and staff of Ndeje University. We wrote a letter requesting for an opportunity to engage not only you, the students, but even the staff and the management of the university. Why? Why do we have this conversation? I think it's really important that we have it now. We've just come out of COVID. We've come out of a heavy lockdown, 2 years, unprecedented, and the economy is trying to pick up. Is there an opportunity to save now? Probably. Even with inflationary pressures? Yes. I was reading a paper recently, which probably I'll share with Dr. Nalela. What is the best strategy on investing under inflationary pressures? Inflationary pressures, you have 10,000, every day that 10,000 changes value. How much you can be able to buy changes value. But is it possible to save under inflationary pressures? Probably, and maybe the conversation here. I bring you greetings from the management of the Capital Markets Authority. They express their sincere gratitude. Sincere gratitude. The CEO is really, really grateful. CEO and director, and the directors there, the Capital Markets Authority, would have loved to be here and be part of this lecture. But I represent and I stand here on their behalf. The gentleman who is going to have this conversation, who is presenting on this, is a gentleman who has sat on many boards, who has been a practitioner in the capital markets over 20 years. He currently sits on boards. He's into advisory right now. He helps people structure their finances. And for now, we partner with him on engaging as many people as possible to get to know much more about the capital markets and be able to have practical experience on the capital markets experience, what happens with the capital markets, especially now for the unit trusts. Will you join with me with hands together, invite Martin Owinyi to go to engage us today.
Dr. Mili, Dr. Nalera, the staff of Indeje, the students of Indeje. How is Indeje? Okay, that's great, that's great. We are very happy to be here from Capital Markets Authority, and we're very happy to be here from Capital Markets Authority, and the Capital Markets Authority is sits under the Ministry of Finance, and it has several functions. Can I stand there? So that it sits under the Ministry of Finance, and it has several functions which I'm going to take you through. Martin Owinyi is my name. I am a practitioner in retirement benefits and capital markets, and we are licensed by Uganda Retirement Benefits Authority in the organization that I run as a corporate trustee, and we're also investment advisors at Capital Markets Authority. My background is in commercial banking and starting the retirement benefits industry here in Uganda. What I'm going to talk about is investing in capital markets. And when you look at capital markets actually started in Uganda in the early 1990s. When I look around the room, I wonder where some of you were at that time, but that's when it started. And what happened is, has anybody here heard of a bank called Greenland Bank? Or read about a bank called Greenland Bank? Okay? Okay, there are some people who have heard about Greenland Bank. Greenland Bank was located where Cairo Bank is located today. And where you see Cairo Bank, that was Greenland Bank Towers. Now, in the early 90s, Greenland Bank made an announcement. And what did they announce? They said, come to floor number 1, room 101, should you wish to buy Greenland Bank shares. Come and purchase a share, we'll be able to give it to you. And a number of Ugandans got excited and said, I've never owned a share. When I own a share, I own a unit of ownership in a company, and it gives me certain benefits. And these people rushed and bought shares. As soon as they had purchased shares, what happens? Greenland Bank collapses. And there was a massive outcry. That time there was no social media. We had newspapers, okay? And people began to say, Bank of Uganda, how can you allow Greenland Bank to sell shares when you knew you're their supervisor, they're about to collapse? And Bank of Uganda says we're not responsible for buying and selling of shares. There is a government body called Capital Markets Authority that has the legitimate authority to license those who can buy and those who can sell shares. At that time, Capital Markets Authority had not started its activities. But when it did, certain rules came into place. What are some of these rules? I cannot just wake up today and announce that Martin Owinyi is selling shares, and if you're a member of the Ugandan public, come and buy shares of Martin Owinyi. No. I need a license from Capital Markets Authority. What is that license showing? It's showing no, I'm not about to collapse. Are we together? I'm not about to do what? Collapse. Now, number 2, What else does the license show? The license shows that I have the legitimacy to sell shares to the Ugandan public. Now, some of you could have heard of a company called Kilembe Investments. Those of you from Kasese, anybody who has heard about it? We went to Kasese, and what happens, we heard, hey, there's a company here, and they're exporting electricity to Congo. And in fact, when you look from Bwera, and you look at the mountains in Congo, full of electricity, and these people were pushing electricity and promising people in Kasese, we're going to give you a lot of profit, and people are buying shares. When we arrived, we said no. If you're to sell shares to the Ugandan public, you need a license from Capital Markets Authority, showing that yes, you're not taking people for a ride. You are going to actually distribute the profit that you are promising. So when you look at Capital Markets Authority, it has a number of sister regulators. Capital Markets Authority is looking after the buying and selling of shares and products around that, which I'm going to be talking about. You have the biggest of them all, Central Bank, Bank of Uganda, looking after commercial banks. And now these commercial banks are valued at about 32 billion Uganda shillings. Are we together? 32 billion. Now, these commercial banks are licensed by Bank of Uganda. Number two, you have URBRA, Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority, supervising 18 billion. And what are they, sorry, not billion, trillion, okay? Sorry about that. It is actually 32 trillion in the commercial banking industry, 18 trillion in retirement benefits. Now, retirement benefits, what do they say? They're saying that when you are working, make sure you are putting a saving away so that when you retire, you go with some money, okay? NSSF and about 54 other retirement benefit schemes are under URBRA. Then you have about 1 trillion Uganda shillings in the Insurance Regulatory Authority. Now, the Insurance Regulatory Authority is insurance products, third party, in event that something goes wrong, do I have a fallback position? Now, when you talk about capital markets, there are a number of activities that happen. If I go to Uganda Securities Exchange, now, what did I say? When Greenland Bank was floating their shares, they invited people to their office. When Capital Markets Authority came and said, no, that is wrong, you need a license. And what is a license showing? I am going to sell my shares where? Not in my office, but at the Uganda Securities Exchange. Some people will call it the Uganda stock market. What happens at the stock market? Shares are bought and shares are sold. Now, number one, when I'm buying a share, what am I looking for? Ownership in a company. That's why some people say that if I'm buying a share, I am buying a unit of capital. Why? Because to get ownership in a company, money must leave my pocket and go into that company as shareholding. Are we together? As it goes into that company as shareholding, there are two things I'm looking for. Number one, the opportunity to become a shareholder at a low price in order to sell at a high price. Same as my auntie who takes what? Tomatoes to the market. She buys at a low price to sell at a high price. Okay, so it's not rocket science. Number two, when that company is dividing its what? Profit. I want some of it. Are we together? How many of you have an MTN phone? Okay. All across the room, everybody has an MTN phone. Now, every day, you're either buying airtime, receiving mobile money, or sending mobile money. Am I right? So every day, you're actually giving MTN money. And you have to ask yourself, all this money I'm giving to MTN, what does it total at the end of the year? Are we together? What's the total at the end of the year? Why am I asking that? MTN was able to turn over 2 trillion Uganda shillings in the year 2021. How do we know that? Because they are floated on the Uganda, they sell their shares on the Uganda Securities Exchange. Now, why am I saying this? Because many of us don't know that we can become a shareholder of MTN. Why am I looking to become a shareholder of MTN? 2 reasons. Buy the share at a low price in order to sell it at a higher price. Number 2, when MTN is dividing the money, I can say that at least part of the money I gave them last year, some of it has come back to me. And what do we call that? We call that dividend. Are we together? Dividend. Now, I want to get part of the dividend. Now, if I go to the Uganda Securities Exchange and I say, I have come to buy shares, okay? And I've come to buy MTN shares. They'll tell me, thank you for coming. But we do not deal directly with the public. We are a primary market. You need to come through the secondary market. What does that mean? If you're to buy shares at the Uganda Securities Exchange, you need a license as a stockbroker. Are we together? Now that stockbroker, as you know, many of you have heard of land brokers. Am I right? People who are in between when you're buying land. They're in between the buyer and the seller. Same with the stockbroker. The stockbroker stands between the public and the market. Are we together? Now, what does that mean? I therefore take my identity card, national ID, my refugee card, are we together? My passport, you know, for those who are non-Ugandans, and I go where? To a stockbroker. And I say, please can you open an account for me? And he says, why? Because I want to buy MTN shares. Oh, very good. Can I please have your identification documents and 1 or 2 passport photographs? Okay? Now the account is open. Once the account is open, they'll tell me when you're ready. MTN is currently going at about 195 Uganda shillings. 195 Uganda shillings. Some of you think I'm saying 195,000. No, turn to your neighbor and say, he's saying 195. 195, not even 200 Uganda shillings. Are we together? What does that mean? Oh, if I'm to buy shares, I only need to be buying 100 shares. And 100 times 195 is equal to 19,500. Less than 20K. I can buy MTN shares. Are we together? Now, why am I buying shares? I'm buying shares in order to buy at a low price and sell at a higher price. All I need is 20K. Okay. Number 2, when MTN is dividing their profit, I want to get some of the profit. All of that happens through a stockbroker, the intermediary between the Uganda Securities Exchange and the public. Now, Uganda Securities Exchange is licensed by Capital Markets Authority. So, there are 2 different bodies. When you look at that, what is actually happening is, it is giving the public the opportunity to participate in a market that is regulated. Are we together? Now you can, when I was growing up, I grew up in Kenya. And one thing I used to do is every Saturday, I noticed either my dad, my mom would go to the market. And I would do what? I would escort them to the market. And of course it's the traditional market, you know, open market and people are buying and selling. But one thing I always realized, every time I went, there was drama. What do I mean? Either somebody was stealing somebody's thing and another person was running after another one, all that kind of thing. Why? It was an unregulated market. But as far as Capital Markets Authority, if you try to run after somebody, at least you can run to Capital Markets and say, I got a problem, I need help. It's a regulated market. Now, capital markets, therefore, what happens there? Number one, remember what I told you. Money leaves your pocket and goes to the company to do what? To purchase a unit of capital. Now, another name for money is capital. Now, if money is leaving your pocket and it's going to the capital markets to buy shares in MTN, you are actually giving MTN money. They didn't have that money. You have given it to MTN. Okay? Now, if I've given MTN money, what is therefore happening at the capital markets? It's the market where companies go to raise capital. Are we together? It's the market where companies go to raise capital. How do they raise capital? They sell shares. Okay? Are shares the only thing sold at the capital markets? No. There are other products, and I'm going to take you into some of those products. But these are some of the shares that are there on the capital markets. And names that you know: MTN, Stanbic Bank, Uganda Clays, BAT, New Vision, Umeme. All of these are actually at the capital markets. Why would I want a share? Buy at a low price, sell at a high price. Number two, when you're dividing your profit, give me some of your profit. Therefore, you as a student, what is your task? Your task is to identify, if I had 20K, where would I put it? In which share would I put it? Okay? And why would I put it there? One thing with shares is the price goes up and the price goes down. It's not constant. Are we together? And what is determining that? The profitability of a company, the style of management of a company, the strength of management of a company, the response of the market to that company. Are we together? Let's look at one of them, Uganda Clays. Uganda Clays sold their shares on the stock exchange, and what actually happened is they were the first Ugandan company to sell shares. Each share was 4,000 Uganda shillings. And Uganda Clays did very good business in Kajansi. What actually happened is they were the market leaders as far as building materials are concerned. And of course, when you're the market leader, you begin to wonder, what else can I do? Are we together? Like if you're in charge of your class and you become so popular, you know, what do you begin to say? What else can I do? I mean, I need to do something else if I'm so popular. Why don't I become guild president of Indeche University? Is the guild president here? Oh. Somebody said yes, they may actually be planning to become. Main campus, okay. I thought someone was planning to become guild president. Okay. Now, what actually happens is, Uganda Clay said, how do we become more profitable? Let us go to Mbale, to a place called Kamunkoli, and open another factory. Why are we opening this factory? Because most South Sudanese, when they are entering their country,
need to send money to a loved one but you don't have enough on your phone? Have you run out of fuel but you don't have enough money? Do you want to pay for yaka or water but have insufficient funds? Or do you want to shop but you don't have enough money? Worry, get away with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
Packages, great entertainment,
sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Go TV, this is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
We go through life hustling, doing different jobs to make ends meet. No matter how strong you are, age will eventually catch up with you. Your hope of a comfortable retirement is saving for old age while you still have energy to work. Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority, the regulator of all licensed retirement benefit schemes, UBRA, encourages you to choose from any of the licensed schemes and start saving, whether employed or self-employed, to avoid regret during your old age. For more information, call 0417-304-500. This message is brought to you by Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority.
Uganda and Turkey enjoy warm, cordial and mutually beneficial bilateral relations, especially in the areas of investment, trade, industry and tourism. It's against this background that the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Uganda Investment Authority, the Embassy of Turkey and the Foreign Economic Relations Board of Turkey is holding the Uganda-Turkey Investment, Trade, Industry and Tourism Summit 2022. The summit will be held on May 12th and 13th at Speak Resort Munyonyo in Kampala under the theme Accelerating Investment, Trade, Industry and Tourism in a Post-COVID Era. The summit will focus on key growth sectors in Uganda, namely agriculture, agro-value addition, manufacturing, industrial parks, mineral value addition, and tourism. The overall objective of the summit is to boost investment, trade, industry, and tourism between Uganda and Turkey by showcasing and identifying opportunities, sharing experiences, creating business networks, and dealing with investment and trade challenges. The chief guest will be the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Follow the summit live on UBC, NBS and Smart24 TV and follow the hashtag InvestUGTurkey22 on Uganda Investment Authority's social media platforms.
Bulu magic is my joy. Ono bulu magic wange. Ayo talaba kumabala atukuza nonyirira okirako enyange tayisa bubi fabriki kyonna kyekiri kigwalwa bulu magic is my choice. Ono bulu magic ye wange. And the blue magic is my choice. Hey, ono blue magic ye wange.
Smart24, driving business.
War. And when people go to war, do they construct? They don't construct. So they lost that market. They turned to Ugandans and said, please, buy Uganda clays. And there was an error in the machines that were in Kamunkoli. When you look at the materials, there was a black suit that was coming on, materials being produced. And they said, no, this doesn't quite look like Uganda clays. Let's go to Kajansi and buy Uganda clays. If people are not buying your product, your revenue goes down, your profit goes down, the share price goes down. It dropped from, it had risen from 4,000 to 250,000. It dropped down even as low as 8,000 Uganda shillings. But fortunate for them, in that struggle, the East Africa's largest retirement benefit scheme, NSSF Uganda, came and said, we're rescuing you. Here is money, revamp your operations, and you will only pay us interest for what? 5 years. After this, this becomes our shares in the company. We will earn when you're dividing your dividends. Uganda Clays turned around, and as many of you know, they are now making quite a bit of money. I think they actually crossed 20 billion in 2021. Okay? But in that whole process, the share price did what? Went down. Okay? And many people actually began to say, why did I buy? Didn't I make a mistake? But when you buy a share, whether you're buying MTN, Stanbic, Uganda Clays, doesn't matter which one, you should always have an outlook of a minimum of 5 years. Why? Share prices are not guaranteed. If you're looking for a guaranteed return, a guaranteed investment, you invest in Treasury Bills and Treasury Bonds, which are called risk-free government investments. What's a treasury bill? It's a loan to government. Okay? I can actually lend to government. And somebody says, what? Those must be very rich people if you're to lend to government. Guess what? You only need 100,000 to lend to government on a treasury bill. Okay? Now, if I have my 100,000 and I put it in a treasury bill, what is actually happening? I'm telling them, I'm lending you this 100,000 for 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. At the end of that period, give it back to me with interest. Currently, what kind of interest are you going to get? 6 to 8%. If you're lucky, 9% per year. Then, others would say, I don't quite like that. I think I like the treasury bond better because the interest rates are in the range of 12 to 14%. Now, what would therefore happen? I will take my 100,000 and give it to government on a treasury bond saying, take this for 24 months, 36 months, 60 months, 15 years, 20 years. Are we together? But keep paying me an interest. Are we together? Now, as I look at that, many of us are saying, you said how many months? 24. Those are just too many. You know, I could have used that 100K a lot better. Are we together? Now, at the end of the day, you're talking of 100K. The staff circle is probably talking of a larger number. Do you have the student circles here? You have a student circle? You do. Do people pay back? Okay. So if even the student circle would talk of a different number. I see some guys laughing behind. Maybe they haven't yet paid. Yeah. So what happens here? When I say I'm looking for the treasury bill or the treasury bond, capital markets comes and tells you, if you're not looking to invest for such long periods, we have a solution for you. And what have we done? We have licensed people called fund managers. And the fund manager stands up and says, I'm the expert. I tell you about the treasury bill, it comes to the market every 2 weeks. And you know what your next question will be? Which week are we in? Is it about to come? Has it just passed? Or was it yesterday? Are we together? Now, what's happening there? You're not the expert. You don't quite know. Number two, what's the rate? Is it worth it giving 100,000 there? And for how long should I give it? For 3 months or for 30 months? I don't quite know. Can you advise me? The fund manager says, yes, I can actually advise you. I have the solution. What did I do? I have bought the best treasury bills and bonds in Uganda. And whenever the price in Uganda is not good, I go to Kenya, I go to Rwanda, I go to Tanzania, I buy the best. And what do? I put them in a pool of investments. Okay? Now, that is what they call the collective investment scheme. I collect my investments, my treasury bills and bonds into one pool. Are we together? Now, as I've collected them in the pool, I then announce I have a very attractive pool that outcompetes all my competitors. Come and buy from my pool. Don't even go to Bank of Uganda. Buy from my pool. I am licensed by Capital Markets Authority. Now, how do you buy from the pool? You buy from the pool because this person will say, out of all these investments, I have broken them into units. Why? Because I know that if I'm to ask people to bring $1 billion, not many people have ever seen 1 billion, leave alone 1 million. Are we together? So, what do they say? We have broken the investments into units, divided this whole pool of 500 billion into 100,000 units. Are we together? These 100,000 units are yielding an interest on a daily basis. Why? Because under here we have been able to buy treasury bills and treasury bonds. And every day people are coming in to buy the bonds and others are selling to say that, me, I'm done with my unit, I'm happy with the interest you've given me, take your unit, give me my money. Others are saying, here's my money, give me the unit that the other one has brought. every day there's actually interest coming into your account. And that's what they call interest upon interest. There's a name we have for that. What is interest upon interest? Interest upon interest. Did I hear somebody say BODMAS? It's compounded interest. Okay, tell your neighbor compounded interest. Okay, you compound your interest. Interest upon interest. Now, as I compound my interest, what am I monitoring? Every day I am earning a interest, a return. Now, as I earn my return, I have the opportunity to say, I'm happy now. The return you've given me on my 100,000 is excellent. I now want to give you back your unit. Please give me my money. Within 48 hours, you have your money. What is the difference? The difference is as follows. If I had 10 million and Dr. Millie had 100 million, and we walked into the bank and we both say, Dr. Millie says, here, bank, take my 100 million. Martin Owinyo also says, here is my 10 million. Please give us an interest rate. Who gets the better interest rate? Those of you who want to become bankers. The 10 million or the 100 million? The 100 million gets the unit trust, we are all equal. Everybody gets the same interest. Number two, the bank is going to say, okay, Dr. Millie, how long do you want to put away this money? Dr. Millie will say 2 months. And Martin will also say 2 months. And what will happen at the end of the day? We'll not be able to touch that money even if we say, hey, it seems I need some of it. Not all, but some. I'll not be able to touch it. Why? Because the bank will tell me, if you take this money, you forfeit your interest. And we only pay interest at the end of the month. So, even if you're taking it at in the middle of the month, we haven't yet paid interest. You can go with it. But we're not paying you the interest. We are keeping it for our profitability.
Ladies and
now,
gentlemen,
trust,
thank you so much for keeping it smart 24 TV, where we drive business. So we have seen those trainings, and in those trainings, the Capital Markets Authority has an objective of informing you about capital markets. And that's what this show is all about. We want to bring you first-hand information so that you are aware of how to save your money, so we don't have the problems we had in the COVID-19 pandemic, where people actually lacked what to eat because they were not saving. So as a sum up, we are going to have a series of these trainings with some of these people here with us at Smart 24, but we'll also take this opportunity to give you a chance to actually take part, and come up with your ideas on what you think should be done, how you think you should invest. You can always follow us on our Twitter handle at Smart24, and also in our Facebook pages, Smart24 TV Official, and all our social media platforms to get feedback on what you think can be improved, what we can add, and your views on the show. So we as Financial Markets here, we are going to commit ourselves to bringing you all the information you need and the experts. And tomorrow we will be having officials from Finance Trust Bank who will be talking about what you need to do in terms of investment banking. There's a term that has been used in so many contexts, especially in the banking sector, in the savings sector, and in the capital markets as well. What is investment banking? If you want to know how to invest your money in the bank, you can actually keep tuned in for that tomorrow. We will also be having an official from this Stanbic Bank group, that is a securities exchange, and also they'll be talking about brokerage, how to broker and trade shares, and how they can help you get access to these shares and so on. All you have to do is to remain tuned to Smart 24. Every morning from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. we'll be bringing you all this and more of the information you need. So as the market closes today, we can see, as I told you, the stock market in Uganda opens at exactly 9 a.m. and closes at 1 p.m. and nothing much has changed. The stock markets are still relatively the same, as you can see on the market exchange, but we'll be bringing you all the updates as they happen tomorrow morning. I would like to thank you so much for being with us. May the good Lord bless you. See you tomorrow.
Smart 24, driving business.
For stories you can't let go, only on Pro Magic Point.
Sasulira akasimu k'ekirooto kyo mpola mpola. Funa essimu y'ekirooto kyo leero ng'osasula mpola mpola okutandikira ku nnusu 14 n'ofuna data ow'obwereere okumala omwaka. Essimu zonna kugirako MBs 5 buli lunaku okumala emyezi 12. Osasulira omwaka gumu. Ziri mu maduuka ga MTN n'aga M-Kopa.
Uganda and Turkey enjoy warm, cordial and mutually beneficial bilateral relations, especially in the areas of investment, trade, industry and tourism. It's against this background that the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Uganda Investment Authority, the Embassy of Turkey and the Foreign Economic Relations Board of Turkey is holding the Uganda-Turkey Investment, Trade, Industry and Tourism Summit 2022. The summit will be held on May 12th and the 13th at Speak Resort Munyonyo in Kampala under the theme Accelerating Investment, Trade, Industry and Tourism in a Post-COVID Era. The summit will focus on key growth sectors in Uganda, namely agriculture, agro-value addition, manufacturing, industrial parks, mineral value addition and tourism. The overall objective of the summit is to boost investment, trade, industry and tourism between Uganda and Turkey by showcasing and identifying opportunities, sharing experiences, creating business networks and dealing with investment and trade challenges. The chief guest will be the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Follow the summit live on UBC, NBS and Smart24 TV and follow the hashtag InvestUGTurkey22 on Uganda Investment Authority's social media platforms. Smart 24, driving business.